Hello, grandson. This is your grandfather, and I'm going to tell you a story about Sody Sallyraytus. Now, you may not know what Sody Sallyraytus is, and that's okay because nobody knows what Sody Sallyraytus is unless they're an old person like me with a gray beard and they come from South Carolina. But up in the mountains of South Carolina, when people made biscuits, they made biscuits like I do today, like you sometimes help me make biscuits. You take some flour and some salt and some buttermilk and some baking soda, except the baking soda back in South Carolina many, many years ago up in the mountains, they used to call the baking soda Sody Sallyraytus. And so this old woman was going to make some biscuits, and she lived with her old husband, and they had two kids, a little boy and a little girl, and they had a pet squirrel as well. And so she was going to start to make some biscuits, and she noticed, oh my goodness, I don't have any Sody Sallyraytus. And she said, little boy, come over here. Here's some money. I want you to go to the store in town and buy me some Sody Sallyraytus. So he went down the road, and while he went down the road, he was singing this song, Sody, Sody, Sody Sallyraytus. He did that so that he wouldn't forget what he was going to the store for, because Lord have mercy, what if he got to the store and bought candy instead of Sody Sallyraytus? So he was walking down the road singing Sody, Sody, Sody Sallyraytus. And then he came to a bridge, and then he came to another road, and then he finally came to the store. And the man at the store said, what'll you have? And the little boy said, Sody, Sody, Sody Sallyraytus. And he paid for the Sody Sallyraytus, and he left the store, and he went down the road, and he came to the bridge, and there was a bear living up under that bridge. And that bear crept out of that bridge, approached the boy and said, boy, I'm going to eat you up. I'm going to eat you whole. You and your Sody Sallyraytus. And he did. Well, the old woman, the old man, and the little girl, and the pet squirrel, they waited and waited and waited and waited. And the little boy never came with the Sody Sallyraytus. And finally the old woman said, little girl, I want you to go down to the store and find out what happened to the little boy and the Sody Sallyraytus. So she left the house and went down the road. And while she went down the road, she sang a song, Sody, Sody, Sody Sallyraytus. She did that because she didn't want to get to the store and forget why she was there. And heaven forbid, she bought some candy and then got home, and the old lady said, where's the little boy and the Sody Sallyraytus? So she sang that song on her way. She walked down the road singing the song. She came to a bridge, walked down the other road, came to the store, and asked the man, have you seen a little boy who was in here looking for some Sody Sallyraytus? And the storekeeper said, yes, indeed. I gave him some Sody Sallyraytus. He paid for it, and he went on his way. Maybe he stopped by the road to play some. So the little girl, she thanked the storekeeper, and she left the store and went down the road, came to the bridge. And when she came to the bridge, there was a bear who lived up under that bridge, and he came out from under the bridge, and he said, little girl, I ate me a little boy and his Sody Sallyraytus, and I eat them whole, and I'm going to eat you whole too. And he did. Well, the old woman and the old man and the little pet squirrel, they waited and they waited and they waited and they waited. And the little boy and the little girl, they didn't show up. So the old woman said to the old man, why don't you go down to the store and see what happened to my little boy and the Sody Sallyraytus and the little girl? So he did. He left the house, went down the road, and while he went down the road, he sang a song. Sody, Sody, me, Sody Sallyraytus. He did that so he wouldn't forget why he was going. Heaven forbid he get to the store and forget why he was there and end up buying some coffee beans or something. So he walked down the road, went over the bridge, walked down the other road, got to the store and asked the storekeeper, have you seen a little boy and a little girl? They should have been here a while back. They were here to get some Sody Sallyraytus, and the storekeeper said, yes, indeed. Little boy came by here, bought some Sody Sallyraytus. Little girl came by here, and I guess they both stopped somewhere along the road to play. And the old man said, well, I guess I'll go find them. So he left the store, walked down the road, came to the bridge, and there was a bear under that bridge. And that bear came out and said, I ate me a little boy, him and his Sody Sallyraytus, I ate him whole. I ate me a little girl, I ate her whole. I'm going to eat you too, and I'm going to eat you whole. And he did. Well, back at the house, the old woman and the pet squirrel, they waited and they waited and they waited and waited. They were getting mighty hungry. So the old woman sent the pet squirrel out to find out what happened. The pet squirrel, he twitched his tail and left the house, went down the road, and while he was walking down the road, he was singing. Because that's the way squirrels sing. And so he got to a bridge and he went down the other road and he got to the store and he stood on his hind legs and he fluffed his furry tail and he asked the storekeeper, because he did speak English, very unique squirrel, have you seen a little girl, a little boy, and an old man come this way looking for Sody Sallyraytus? And the storekeeper said, yes, indeed, I have. And they went on their way. I guess they stopped by the road to play somewhere. So the squirrel was mystified, and he decided to go back to the house. And he left the store, and he walked down the road, came to a bridge, and under the bridge there was a bear that lived under that bridge. And that bear said, I ate me a little girl. I ate me a little boy who had Sody Sallyraytus. I ate me an old man. I'm going to eat you too. I eat them whole. I eat you whole too. And the squirrel, before the bear could catch him, jumped up on a tree and started scurrying up the tree. And the bear looked up and said, you think you can get away from me? If your tiny little legs can get up that tree, my big old legs can carry me up that tree. And the bear climbed the tree. And right as the bear was about to get that squirrel, the squirrel went on to a limb of that tree. And the bear said, you think those tiny little legs of yours can get on that limb of this here tree? My big old legs can do that too. I'm going to catch you and eat you whole. And so the squirrel waited until the bear was almost there, and then he jumped from one limb of one tree to the limb of another tree. And the bear said, you think that those tiny little legs of yours can jump from here to there? Well, my big old legs can do that too. And the bear jumped. Well, that bear was big and fat. He had a belly full of a little boy and a little girl and an old man and Sody Sallyraytus, and he didn't quite make it to the next limb of the next tree, and he fell. Splat! And he fell on the ground. And when he did, his belly burst open, and out came the old man, whole. And out came the little girl, whole. And out came the little boy, whole. And he was carrying Sody Sallyraytus. So all of them The old man, the little girl, the little boy, and the pet squirrel walked down the road back to the house singing Sody, Sody, Sody Sallyraytus. They got the Sody Sallyraytus to the old woman who made biscuits for everybody. And by this time, it was lunchtime. Breakfast had long gone. Everybody was real hungry. So she didn't make one batch of biscuits. She didn't make two batches of biscuits. She made 4 batches of biscuits, and everybody ate all those biscuits right up.